sorry. This is what if Deku had Zabuza's powers from the Hidden Mist Village. Now, I did get a different recorder because I noticed the last one was lagging a little bit. So I got a new one. The 2 other videos will still be up if anyone wants to watch them. But, so, how this is going to happen is, before Zabuza actually dies by Kakashi's hand, let's say Naruto in the story was a little bit more violent because let's say Sasuke almost died, like he was on the brink of death, basically. Which, I mean, in the anime he was, but Naruto just lashed out and instantly killed what's-his-name. Didn't have a chance. And before Zabuza got hit by lightning, he just disappeared. Like a ninja. Let's say another ninja appeared and used a scroll on Zabuza, causing him to disappear to another dimension. And Zabuza landed outside of the woods by let's say he landed outside the woods, just on the edge, by a familiar boy with green hair house. And let's say Zabuza was really injured because the Kakashi's attack still hurt him. Like, it got his arm. So, and also his sword went with him too. Don't worry, his sword did go with him. So, Deku walks up to him, and let's say Deku's mom, I can't remember her name, got divorced to her husband about 2 years earlier and has to work. So Deku has a babysitter, and the babysitter is just inside while Deku's playing outside. And the babysitter is inside while Deku is playing outside. So Zabuza looks over at Deku, and Deku notices Zabuza because he sees a little bit of blood and walks over to him. And Deku is around 5, because Deku's around 5. And Zabuza's like, go on somewhere, kid. And then Deku was like, no, I'm not leaving here, because Deku wanted to be a hero. So basically what he did was grab Zabuza and like dragged him out from behind the bush and told the babysitter. And now Zabuza's sword, Zabuza couldn't drag it with him, but it was, like whenever he had it, it was dragged into the bush, so his sword is in the bush. And now, they bring Zabuza to the hospital. They fix his arms up and everything, and they asked who attacked him. And Zabuza just doesn't pay attention. He just leaves and says, can you bring me back to that little kid's house? So they bring him back to the little kid's house. And Zabuza walks up to the little kid and says, hey, I want to train you. Because he saved Zabuza's life. Now everyone has chakra. Everyone. In this world. Now let's just say Deku has chakra. Yeah, let's say Deku has chakra. That's his hidden quirk. He just doesn't know how to use it. Now, let's say, what's his name, is able to sense chakra. Like, he can sense it, but he has to focus super hard to sense it. So Zabuza senses this strong power, strong energy inside of Deku. He's like, this kid's chakra is overwhelming. And he's like, I want to teach you, kid. And he teaches Deku how to become strong. And he's like, oh, by the way, before he does this, Zabuza does meet Deku's mom whenever she gets back from work. And she freaks out whenever she sees Deku with this giant dude, 2 broken arms, just in the backyard. And the babysitter explains to her, and she's like, oh, okay. So, like, Zabuza, let's say he is nice, and Zabuza is watchable. Like, at first he's wondering what goes on, but he gets the hint. Like, he sees a bunch of weird things, like people running around with automatic chakra already using. And then he realizes, wait, no, it's not chakra being used, it's powers. And he gets used to powers. And people just think his powers are be able to lunge around that giant sword and control water. But his powers go a lot deeper than that. Because we know he can make water clones and everything. And he is pretty high on the hero list. I want to put him in 10th. Yeah, let's put him in 10th. He is the 10th highest hero on the list. And eventually, this is going to be a weird shit, but Deku's mom and Zabuza start dating. Yeah, this is weird. So, Zabuza is a lot nicer, and I can't remember why he wears those bandages, but I believe it's because he has sharp teeth. I don't know. I can't remember really. But let's say he still wears the bandages around his his face. Yeah. And he still does have the handbed. Or however you say it. I can't say it. But he changed up his outfit a little bit. He learned from his mistakes. So on his outfit, instead of having just his outfit, he has long sleeves and he has iron on the front of it to protect him from enemies' attacks. And let's just say this for fun. It can repel lightning. Yeah. So he basically has this around, like, it's light armor, and he has it on his legs, his chest. It's basically like a full armor suit. The only place he doesn't have it is his head. And the reason why he doesn't have it on his head is so he can block and still be able to fight with his sword and stuff. And it's not like a giant metal suit. It's more like metal pieces attached to the cloth, basically. Or basically like whatever he's wearing, the silk stuff that he's wearing or whatever. I don't know. And so Deku learns how to use chakra, and he knows how to make water clones, he knows how to make dragon clones, he knows how to make, let's say he can make water shuriken and water blades. I want to give that to him. And he has a sword like Zabuza's, but his sword is a little bit different. It's like as long as Zabuza's, it's just barely as long as Zabuza's. Like, it's maybe a little bit long. It's about 75% of Zabuza's sword. Instead of it being like really thick, it's not like super thin, but it's like about as thick as that circle hole in Zabuza's sword. Yeah, let's say that. And Zabuza is surprised he's able to wield such a giant sword, and he has a guard on it to protect his arms. And Deku, instead of him just sharpening it down to a point, he gets his sword chiseled to where it has tiny, tiny little razor sharp blades that are spiked. And he uses them to fight people. Now Deku, he's kind of like Zabuza. He grows to get Zabuza's attitude. And since he started training, one day Bakugo, let's say this is when they're around 10. Bakugo's like, oh, you want to try me, nerd? Bakugo goes to punch him. And this is whenever Deku is basically like, he's like, what's his name, whenever Zabuza, whenever he was taking the exam, like how he killed all those kids, basically, in the exam. And he just grabs Bakugo by the throat and slams him down on the ground and just starts beating him up. And, like, the henchmen run towards Deku trying to stop him. And then, let's say Deku does learn the clones, but he can only summon 2. Because Deku, you gotta remember, he's a fast learner. So whenever he summons those 2 just start beating up on them. And Deku just stands up, and he's like, you're not even worth fighting, Bakugo, and just walks off. And the teachers the students, everyone there was surprised that he was able to beat up. And he's like, he has copy magic? I mean, he has cloning magic? They're like, what? And why did it seem like it was made out of water? And Bakugo goes to attack Deku, and then one of the water clones step in front of it, and he blows up the side of the water clone. And instead of the water clone just disappearing, instead, let's say he's a little bit better at using his chakra and controlling it than characters. So whenever whenever it breaks, instead of it scattering everywhere, the water just basically takes some of the attack to where it'll stop, and then separates the rest of it. Like, it's not just disappearing. Like, it's attached to the body and it's just wavering everywhere. And then it attaches itself back to where it was and becomes a clone again, and then just punches Bakugo directly in the face, knocking him out. And now we're skipping to canon, the beginning of the story. I don't know why. I just made that a super long part. I just wanted to make Deku really strong. And then Deku is walking home, and Deku does have his sword. He just lugs it around sometimes. And the villain, this is the day that he has a sword, and his sword's made out of a special metal, to where, like, whenever he cuts through a villain, it's not like he has it basically tacked out. Like, it's not like Zabuza's, that he just clinks around and he bursts through everything. Deku has a strong wind pressure thing on the side of it that shoots wind out of it. Kind of like All Might, since All Might was his favorite character. His favorite hero. But his favorite hero now is Zabuza. It's basically like a dad to him, Zabuza is. And Zabuza is just strong. Let's be honest. He has that eye of a killer, basically. I don't know. Zabuza just is really strong, and Deku just uses his wind attack because he has a sword on him. Like, he uses wind and his giant sword at the same time, and just sends the sludge villain flying everywhere. And then he turns around and starts going to walk away, and then he hears, "I am here." And this is whenever what's his name shows up, All Might. And All Might was being dumb and didn't pick up the eyes and the mouth. He was just being dumb. And then he asked Deku if he did it. And Deku was like, yeah. And he's like, "Do you want an autograph, young man?" And Deku, instead of being like, "Oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much," he's just like, "No." And then he just turns around and walks off. And now the sludge villain escapes, right? And he sees Bakugo. He does see Bakugo. But that's whenever the sludge falls out and lands in front of Bakugo. And Bakugo just kicks it, and it opens up the cap, and the sludge just rushes to the eyes and the mouth of the villain and captures Bakugo's strong cord. And after he catches it, Deku just sees that smoke, and he's like, I'll go check it out. And walks over there and looks at it. He's like, Bakugo, huh? He's like, well, if I want to become a hero someday, I guess I have to save him. And he rushes in, and he just grabs Bakugo, because he is super strong. He can rip Bakugo out of the sludge easy, and just rips him out, takes his sword, and just slices the sludge villain, using the air pressure and not his super strength, but basically almost super strength level of power, because you gotta remember, Zabuza is able to carry that sword. That sword has to be heavy. Do you see how thick that sword is? It has to be heavy. And how big it is. So Deku just and destroys the villain, and everyone's like amazed with his power. And the heroes are kind of wondering, why is he carrying a sword around? Is it part of his quirk? What? And Deku just starts walking. Everyone's like, "Whoa, that's amazing quirk you have. Whoa, that's amazing." And I should have also mentioned that he did put out, like, I don't know if there was a fire in front of him. Let's just say a fire did go in front of him. He just put it out using his water clone. Like, he summoned one of his water clones and had it dispersed to put out the fire. But his water clone didn't come back because it just dispersed itself completely to put out the fire. And Deku just walks away. He doesn't even care. And don't you know the thing that Goro has on his back? Deku kinda has one of those as well with his sword. Because he needs water to use his quirk, basically. So he carries one of those giant things around with him, and it contains a lot of water. Like, it contains at least 100 pounds worth of water in it. Yeah. 100 pounds, let's say 100 pounds. And Deku is just walking. He doesn't even care. He isn't paying attention to any of them. And suddenly, whenever he disappears, he starts walking around the corner to go to his house, and he hears, "I am here." Well, I don't even know what All Might said. All Might just appeared, probably. And he asks Deku if he wants his quirk, and I'm going to leave this part on a cliffhanger, because you have had enough. I don't even care that much. I just do this for fun.